I don't know why I decided to take a shortcut home that night. I guess I was just eager to get there after a long day at work. I should have known better than to walk alone down an unfamiliar, unlit street. But hindsight is 20/20. As I briskly walked down the alley, the only sounds were my footsteps and distant traffic. The tall brick buildings on either side blocked out the moonlight, making it difficult to see more than a few feet in front of me. I felt isolated, but not necessarily scared. After a couple minutes, I heard additional footsteps behind me. I paused and glanced back, but saw only darkness. Quickening my pace, I berated myself for being paranoid. It was probably just my imagination in this eerie alley. The second set of footsteps resumed, moving faster now. My heart started pounding. I fought the urge to run, not wanting to seem scared in case it really was harmless. But the footsteps continued to gain on me. Finally giving in to panic, I broke into a sprint. The footsteps pounded faster after me. I opened my mouth to scream for help when a hand grabbed my shoulder and whirled me around. A tall figure loomed over me, face obscured by a hoodie. Without a word, he threw me against the hard brick wall, and everything went black. When I came to, I was in a small, windowless room lit only by a flickering bulb. I tried to sit up, but realized my wrists and ankles were bound. I opened my mouth to scream, but no sound came out. I had been gagged. Footsteps approached, and the hooded man entered the room. In his hand glinted a large hunting knife, the blade crusted with some dark substance. He wordlessly dragged the knife down my cheek, applying just enough pressure to draw blood, but not enough to do serious damage. I thrashed against my restraints, screaming muffled cries into the gag. He traced the knife slowly down my jaw, my neck, resting it right above my racing heart. I pleaded with my eyes for him to spare me, tears streaming down my face. For a moment, he hesitated, and I felt a small rush of hope. But then he pressed the blade in, twisting it as I convulsed in agony. As the life drained out of me, my thoughts went to my family, who were expecting me home by now. They would worry at first when I didn't show up. Maybe they would call my phone to no avail. Eventually, they would contact the police, who would find my mutilated body dumped like trash in this alley. The hooded man watched me emotionlessly until the light left my eyes. He wiped the bloodied knife clean on my shirt before placing it back in his pocket. Without even a glance at my lifeless form, he turned and disappeared into the darkness once again. I don't know why he chose me as his victim that night. I don't know if he felt any remorse at all for what he did. All I know is that I won't get to watch my little girl grow up. I won't get to retire with my husband or meet my future grandkids. My hopes and dreams ended at the edge of that cold, rusty knife. So please, learn from me. Don't take shortcuts alone at night. The brief moment you save isn't worth the risk. Tell your loved ones where you're going and when to expect you back. Be aware of your surroundings and any potential threats. Don't assume you'll make it home unscathed. I thought I was invincible too, but now I'm nothing more than a cautionary tale. Stay safe out there. Keep your guard up. Watch your back. Take care of each other. Don't let my life be cut short in vain. Make better choices than I did. Maybe then, someday, fewer lives will end in terror and pain at the hands of monsters hiding in the darkness. I never should have clicked on that thread. Curiosity has always been my downfall, driving me to poke around the dusty corners of the internet. But this time, curiosity led me somewhere I can never return from. It started innocently enough. I was bored, scrolling through Reddit instead of working. The title grabbed me. My best friend disappeared 10 years ago, and I just got a message from his account. Weird. Probably just someone hacking an old abandoned account. But what if? I clicked. OP user searching for answers. Told a harrowing tale. His childhood best friend Jake went missing when they were 15 years old. Vanished without a trace from a sleepover at OP's house. A decade passed without any breaks in the case until today. OP received an unread message on Reddit from Jake's old account. I'm still here. In the comments, skepticism abounded. Just a cruel prank or hacked account, they said, but my curiosity was piqued. I scrolled through Jake's post history, looking for clues. Nothing recent until I spotted his last comment from 10 years ago in an Ask Reddit thread. If you were trapped somewhere, how would you get help? My hair stood on end. This wasn't just a hacked account. No one else would have known to post that, except Jake right before disappearing. A chilling thought seeped into my mind. What if Jake had been trapped somewhere all this time? What if he only now managed to access this old account? I couldn't shake the idea. I typed out a reply. Jake, if this is really you, how can we help? How can we find you? My finger hovered over the post button. Did I really believe I was communicating with a missing person from a decade ago? No, it was ludicrous. But my nagging curiosity pushed me to click post before I could talk myself out of it. I switched browser tabs to distract myself, but my gaze kept getting drawn back to the thread. Check for replies, my brain said. You never know. I refreshed. My heart dropped. They're among the newest comments. Jake, I'm here. Trapped. Find me. My body went cold. This wasn't fake. Jake was sending messages in real time. For 10 years, no one knew he was out there, helpless and alone. And I was the only one who could see his cries for help. Fingers trembling, I asked for more information. Where was he trapped? How could he access Reddit? The minutes stretched on endlessly as I waited, praying for a response. Finally, it came. Jake, abandoned cellar. Rotting door I can't break. Found old cell phone. Please come. He was giving me details only the real Jake could know. I now realized with dawning horror that I wasn't speaking with a missing person. I was speaking with the living dead. Jake had clearly not survived these 10 years intact. Who knows what effect this endless solitude has had on his mind. I considered alerting the authorities, but hesitated. No one else would believe this wild story. They might even lock me up for sounding unhinged. But I knew the truth. Jake was depending on me alone. I made up my mind. I had to find him. I asked Jake for more identifying features around the cellar he was trapped in. His answers came rapid. Fire, like he sensed this was the first hope of rescue he'd had in 10 long years. We narrowed down the possible locations, and I pretended I had to leave for a dentist appointment. In reality, I jumped in my car and tore out of work. Jake's clues guiding me closer to this shadowy, squalid grave. The miles melted away as I homed in on the location. An abandoned farmhouse 20 minutes outside the next town over. The directions took me down an overgrown dirt road to the decrepit ruins of what was once a stately country home. I parked out of sight and approached carefully on foot, trying not to spook whoever or whatever I might find inside. As I drew close, the creaking ruin took shape through the overgrown trees. The crumbling porch caved in walls and boarded up windows, and underneath a warped bulkhead door leading to darkness. The cellar. Heart pounding, I grabbed the rusty handle and pulled with all my might. I live in a big city. I have a small apartment in downtown, and it's pretty nice aside from not having a yard, but I like it a lot. I've lived here for 3 years now. Nothing strange has ever happened to me until last week. One night I woke up in the middle of the night at 4 a.m. to hear my front door open. I immediately thought it was an intruder, and I laid there pretending to be asleep for about 30 minutes. I didn't hear anything at all, so I got up to investigate. When I looked all around my house, nobody was there. Then I looked to see if anything was stolen, and I couldn't find anything. 2 days later, when I woke up in the morning, I saw that some of my food was gone, but nothing of value was taken. This happened again the next day. This has all creeped me out, and I'm not sure what I should do. I will keep you all updated.